In a small, peaceful town called Maplewood, lived a kind-hearted young man named Ethan. He was 25, and everyone in the town knew him for his generosity and warm smile. Ethan wasn't wealthy, but he had something that was far more valuable. He had a heart full of kindness. Ethan worked as a gardener, helping people maintain their homes and gardens. His clients were mostly elderly, and he enjoyed spending time with them, listening to their stories and offering a helping hand. Even though his work wasn't glamorous or highly paid, he was always happy. His simple life was filled with moments of joy, knowing he had made someone's day a little brighter. One autumn afternoon, while Ethan was tending to Mrs. Jenkins's garden, an old woman approached him. She was hunched over with a cane, her face lined with years of wisdom and experience. She wore a long, tattered coat, and her shoes seemed to have seen better days. Ethan stopped his work and smiled warmly at her. "Good afternoon. Can I help you with something?" he asked. The woman looked up, her eyes sharp despite her age. "I've heard much about you, Ethan. You're always helping others, always doing good things. I have a request, if you don't mind." Ethan was taken aback. He had never met this woman before, but her presence felt strangely familiar. "Of course. Anything I can do." The woman smiled faintly. "I need you to do something for me. I want you to visit 3 different people in this town, and I want you to give them something. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it must be something meaningful. Something they will remember. Can you do that?" Ethan was puzzled, but agreed. "I'll do it. But can I ask why?" The woman's expression softened. "Because, my dear, kindness has a way of spreading. When you give something meaningful, it doesn't just stay with the person you give it to. It grows and touches others. I want you to see this for yourself." With that, she walked away, leaving Ethan standing there with her words echoing in his mind. He didn't understand fully, but he felt compelled to follow through with her request. Ethan spent the next few days thinking about what to give. He didn't have money to buy anything expensive, but he knew that wasn't what mattered. It had to be something from the heart. The first person Ethan decided to visit was Mr. Harper, an elderly widower who lived in a small cottage on the edge of town. Mr. Harper had always been kind to Ethan, offering him tea after a long day of gardening. He never asked for anything in return. Ethan knocked on Mr. Harper's door, and the old man greeted him with a warm smile. "Well, if it isn't Ethan. What brings you here today?" Ethan smiled back. "I brought you something, Mr. Harper." He handed him a small wooden box, polished and carefully crafted. Inside was a photo of the 2 of them, taken when Ethan had helped Mr. Harper plant a tree in his garden a few months ago. "This is a gift," Ethan said. "A memory, to remind you of the good times." Mr. Harper's eyes widened in surprise, and then he chuckled softly. "You've given me something far more valuable than a trinket, Ethan. You've given me the gift of remembering. Thank you, my boy. Thank you." Ethan left Mr. Harper's house with a warm feeling in his chest, realizing that this small gesture had brought so much joy to someone. But there was more to do. Next, Ethan visited Claire, a single mother who worked at the town's bakery. Claire had always been kind to him, offering him fresh bread whenever he passed by. Ethan knew that she worked long hours to provide for her daughter, and he wanted to do something special for her. He arrived at the bakery one morning and found Claire working behind the counter. She looked tired, but she greeted him with a bright smile. "Good morning, Ethan. How can I help you today?" "I brought something for you, Claire," Ethan said. "It's not much, but I hope you'll like it." He handed her a small journal. "This is for you to write down your thoughts, your dreams, or anything that makes you happy. You've been giving so much of yourself to everyone else. Maybe it's time to take some time for you." Claire was speechless for a moment. "Ethan, this is so thoughtful. I don't know what to say." "Thank you." Ethan saw a tear escape from Claire's eye, and he smiled. As he left the bakery, he realized that the simple act of kindness had brightened her day. It wasn't about the journal, it was about the thought behind it. The understanding that sometimes people just need to be seen, to know that someone cares. The final person Ethan visited was young Lily, a shy girl who had recently moved to Maplewood with her family. Lily had trouble making friends at school and often sat alone during lunch. Ethan had noticed her before, but he knew she needed more than just a friendly smile. She needed a connection. One afternoon, Ethan found Lily sitting under a tree in the park, reading a book. He sat down beside her and offered her a small package wrapped in colorful paper. "This is for you, Lily." Lily looked up, surprised. "For me?" Ethan nodded. "I thought you might like it. It's something that can remind you that you're not alone." Inside the package was a small sketchbook and a set of colored pencils. Lily's eyes brightened. "I love to draw," she exclaimed, her face lighting up for the first time since Ethan had met her. Ethan smiled. "Then I hope you fill this up with beautiful things." As he walked away, he glanced back to see Lily flipping through the pages of her new sketchbook. It was a small gift, but for her, it was everything. It was a way for her to express herself, to find her voice. Days passed, and Ethan continued with his work. But something strange began to happen. Mrs. Jenkins, who had always been a bit grumpy, began helping others in the neighborhood. Mr. Harper started hosting small tea parties for his friends, sharing his memories and stories. Claire, with her new journal, began taking time for herself, and Lily, now with her new sketchbook, started drawing with her classmates, making friends along the way. It wasn't long before Ethan began to see the ripple effect of his small gifts. Kindness was spreading everywhere, one person helping another, one smile turning into many. Then, one evening, the old woman appeared again. She smiled at Ethan, her face glowing with satisfaction. "Did you see it?" she asked. Ethan nodded. "I see now. Kindness doesn't just change one life. It changes many." The woman nodded, her eyes twinkling. "You understand now. Kindness is the greatest gift you can give, and it always comes back to you, in ways you can never imagine." With that, she disappeared as mysteriously as she had arrived. Ethan's life had changed that day. He realized that it wasn't about big gestures or grand gestures of kindness, it was about the little things, the simple acts that made people feel seen, heard, and appreciated. And in the end, that's what mattered most. As Ethan continued to live his life in Maplewood, he understood the power of kindness. It was something he could give every day, in every small way. Because kindness, like a pebble thrown into a pond, always created ripples that spread far beyond what you could ever see.
Please subscribe, like, comment and share this video. It means a lot to us. Thank you.